So I bet all of you have heard that Classic World of Warcraft is going to be coming out in the near future. But there's been a topic kind of that people have been talking about in the World of Warcraft community, and it's about should there be any changes to Classic WoW. And essentially, if you don't know, at BlizzCon last year, it was announced that they're going to be releasing Classic servers, and that means that they're basically releasing Vanilla again, which is the beginning of World of Warcraft. When it first started, that's like the first, it's not an expansion, it was just, you know, the base game that first came out that everyone played and fell in love with. There have been a lot of people online though who have been asking the question of whether the Classic World of Warcraft they're going to release, which is essentially re-releasing Vanilla, people have been basically questioning whether they should add graphical updates, like have all the new models and things like that, which we have in like Legion and which will be in Battle for Azeroth, to like the old world of Azeroth obviously, and whether there should be a few quality of life changes, like I can't think of a load of them off the top of my head because I've just started playing mid-January, so essentially I don't know all the quality of life changes they added, but things are certainly more convenient. One I can think of straight away is the flight paths. In Vanilla you couldn't just click the one you wanted to go to and it would fly you directly through all the flight paths to it. You'd have to click one at a time and travel separately to each one, and you'd have to click on the map each time. Yeah, so things like that, that's an example of a quality of life change. And in general, just adding some of the more sleeker features the newer version of WoW has to the classic version. And I watched Nixium's video about this topic, and at the end of his video he asked the community about what they thought, and if people wanted they can make video responses, so that's what I'm doing. As we all know, over the years Blizzard's really upped the graphics in the newer versions of World of Warcraft. Like, there are some older textures and places which haven't been updated, and you can really tell which ones they haven't really gone in depth with and like updated yet. And there's a little contrast in the newer game, so when you go to like the old world and the old zones. Like, I personally love it because I never got to experience any of that when it first came out, and I kind of have nostalgia even though I wasn't there, if that makes sense. But yeah, I love all the old kind of vanilla stuff and Burning Crusade stuff that I've experienced, although I haven't experienced much of it because I'm focusing on Legion, trying to unlock that flying achievement and do my Mage Tower quests. But yeah, but yeah, with Vanilla, it's a completely different experience. The game is significantly different, not exactly of its mechanics, but the way it plays in general. Like, gold was a lot harder to come by back in the day. Like, nowadays, although it doesn't seem like it if you're a newer player, and you don't think you got a lot of gold, compared to Vanilla, you must have loads of gold, because basically to get 100 gold, for example, apparently took a long time. It could take weeks. And nowadays, that's crazy, because sometimes you can get 40 or even 80 gold in one quest, which is pretty ridiculous when you think about it. So obviously the way you gather gold's different. It's the same kind of things you do, but you just get less of it, and you have to work hard and put a lot of time in to earn your flying mounts and things like that, and your weapons, and your class abilities, and pretty much all the things you have to pay for in the new game. And there are certain things like with professions and like weapons. For example, I believe hunters have to use arrows, and each time they shoot an arrow, it uses one up in their bag, so like they have to buy arrows separately. So that sounds kind of crazy nowadays, but I kind of like it. Like, it adds to the roleplay experience, and I really like that kind of aspect. But I'm looking forward to Classic, because I'll get to experience World of Warcraft, and I've heard so many people online talking about how great it was and how kind of different it is to nowadays. Like, a lot of people prefer how Warcraft was in the past, but I'm not one of those people, like, per se. I'm a person where I love Warcraft in all its forms, and I can appreciate Classic, and I really want to play it when it comes out. But yeah, in general, the point I'm trying to get at is, with all like these changes, a few newer players, from what I can tell from the videos I've watched, I've heard like roughly the community is split in half, where about half the players want changes to Classic, and just over half, so there's a bit more players leaning to this side. More people are leaning towards the side of no changes. We just want classic vanilla Warcraft, and honestly I'm in this boat, and I'll explain why. To be honest, if you want to play like the newer version of World of Warcraft, which I love a lot, I'm obsessed with it, it's awesome. It's got all these awesome changes, like, which make things more convenient, like getting gold's easier, getting gear is easier, significantly easier, and also certain things are a lot easier, and other things, you know, it's just more convenient overall, and like it's kind of like a different game in a sense. There's so many changes. There's obviously pet battles, and you know, all those kind of extra things, transmogs. But yeah, none of that's in Classic. And for the people who want to play Classic but want it to make changes to it, and even graphical changes, at the end of the day, if you want new graphics and all the new features, then you should probably just play Legion / Battle for Azeroth when it comes out, because vanilla isn't going to be vanilla or Classic World of Warcraft if you add loads of changes to it, because at that point Blizzard are basically just making a modded version of vanilla, or an updated version of vanilla. And at the end of the day, vanilla was in the past, and it is what it is. It's set in stone, and if you start making any changes to it, or any significant changes to it, there might be a couple of minor changes to patch out glitches, but apart from that, if you start making loads of changes to it, it's not going to be vanilla anymore, because although they can say it's classic, if they made loads of changes to it, it won't be, because it won't be the same game and the same experience that people, experienced back in the day. And as a new player who never got to experience that, I want to experience Classic the way it was in vanilla. I want it to be unchanged, and I'll love it because it's a brand new adventure. And if you weren't aware, a lot of the quests got changed when I believe Cataclysm came out, because Deathwing obviously destroyed all of Azeroth. Well, or most of it, at least. He destroyed loads of areas, and some of the areas are completely different, and like a load of quests changed. They took out the old quests, because obviously the world was destroyed, and, things would change. But, also, over time, Blizzard have also changed some of the quests as well in Warcraft. One quest in particular, although I'm not sure what the name of it is, I've been watching a lot of lists of other WoW YouTubers about their favourite quests, and there is a quest where there's this older guy who falls in love with a young girl he's tutoring, and she eventually gets engaged to this guy, and then he gets enraged with her, and he ends up killing her and her whole family. Like that, for example, that's one quest which they changed. They changed the storyline a bit after Cataclysm, I believe, and they added him being a worgen in it for some reason, when you have to go kill him and things like that. They changed it up, but it's not necessarily, I'm not saying whether it's a bad or good change, because I think the old version was better, but pretty much what I'm saying is, I don't know if that quest was out in vanilla, but as an example, they changed a load of quests once Cataclysm came out. So being able to play vanilla the way it was, and also with the graphics, basically playing it how it was with the old quests, it's a new experience. And for those who want to come back to Classic, they want to play Classic. They're there to play the original vanilla experience. They're not there to play a modded version of vanilla with Battle for Azeroth models and graphics. And also I've heard that with the older graphics, they don't actually look bad. And from what I've seen, they don't, because Blizzard has a really good art style, and something that contrasts in the newer game, which isn't bad at all. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't even notice it. But some people say if they have I can get what they mean though, because they say if there's new graphics in a certain area and then they travel to an older area which is close by, well, there's a newer model in an old area which isn't fully updated, it looks a bit strange, because obviously some of the graphics were made a long time ago and some of them weren't. But with vanilla, all the graphics were made in the same time frame, if that makes sense. So the whole world looks the same in quality. Well, I wouldn't say quality, but I guess you could say it's the same quality, if that makes sense. I think you get what I'm saying. It's the same kind of graphics, and it makes the world not look bad at all. It looks kind of beautiful, a lot of people say. The art style really works, and it looks awesome. But what I'm trying to basically wrap it up to is pretty much, if you want to try Classic but you're not willing to try it if it's modded if it's has changes, then you're probably not going to want to play Classic, because you obviously prefer the newer version of WoW, and you're looking for those convenient features, and I don't blame you for that, because I like them too. But I'm a person, I think I'm quite an old spirit. I can appreciate a lot of things, and I'm certainly looking forward to Classic WoW, because I get to experience vanilla, and I'm really excited for it. But overall, I'm on the fence of no changes, and I agree with Nixium. There shouldn't be any changes to Classic WoW, because if you change anything about it, significantly, it is not Classic WoW. The only changes I would accept is glitch patches, that's it. But if it's changed, it's not Classic WoW. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you agree with me, hit the like button. If you don't, and you still enjoy the video, hit the like button. If you dislike the video, you dislike it. But if you want to tell me what you think of this topic, leave your opinion in the comments. That would mean a lot to me. And also, if you have any criticisms and of how I can improve, that would also mean a lot. And if you do want to see more videos from me, make sure to subscribe and make sure to hit the bell, because you get notifications whenever I upload if you do. But that would mean a lot to me as I'm trying to grow. But anyway, thanks for watching, and if you made it this far, that means the world to me. Have a nice day, guys. See ya.